The ship reached the coast with its sails still set. Food was prepared below deck, but the lifeboats were gone, and so was every member of the crew. The Carroll was a 5-masted commercial schooner built in Bath, Maine, in 1919. In the age of steam, vessels like her were already becoming unusual. She carried cargo along the Atlantic and, in 1920, sailed for Rio de Janeiro with coal. The voyage was troubled before the mystery began. Captain William Merritt became ill and left the ship with his son. A replacement master, Captain Willis Wormel, took command in Barbados. The crew changed as well, creating a shipboard community of men who had not worked together for long. On the return voyage, the Dirham passed the Cape Lookout lightship on January 29, 1921. A crewman reported through a megaphone that the schooner had lost both anchors in a storm. Witnesses later noted something strange. The man speaking did not appear or behave like an officer. The lightship's radio was not working, so the message could not be sent immediately. The following evening, another vessel saw the Dirham steering an unusual course near Diamond Shoals. That was the last confirmed sighting of anyone aboard. At dawn on January 31st, the Coast Guard station at Cape Hatteras spotted the schooner stranded on the shoals. Her sails were set. Waves broke across the deck. Heavy seas prevented an immediate boarding, and the ship remained exposed for several days. When salvors finally reached her on February 4th, they found an abandoned vessel. The lifeboats were missing. Personal belongings, navigation equipment, papers, the ship's log, and the anchors were gone. Food appeared to have been laid out for a meal. The crew's fate was not recorded anywhere on board. The ocean soon destroyed much of the evidence. The wreck was eventually towed away and dynamited after it began breaking apart. Investigators were left with witness statements, missing objects, and theories. One dramatic clue seemed to arrive in a bottle. A local man reported finding a message claiming the Dirham had been captured by an oil-burning vessel. The note appeared to support a pirate attack, and a handwriting expert initially linked it to a crew member. Federal investigators later determined that the message was a hoax written by the finder himself. The United States government examined an extraordinary range of possibilities. Prohibition-era rum runners operated along the coast. Officials worried about pirates and organized crime. Another theory linked the disappearance to political radicals or foreign agents. None produced the missing crew. Mutiny became a serious possibility. Captain Wormel had reportedly complained about his first mate. The unusual speaker at the lightship and the removal of navigation equipment could mean that men other than the officers had taken control. If the crew abandoned the schooner deliberately, however, they still had to enter rough water in small boats near a dangerous coast. No confirmed wreckage or bodies were found. A more ordinary sequence may explain the same evidence. After losing the anchors, the crew could have feared that the ship would drift onto Diamond Shoals. They might have taken papers, navigation tools, and personal possessions into the lifeboats because they expected to leave permanently. A storm, current, or passing vessel could then have separated them from the schooner. The unmanned Dirham continued until the shoals stopped her. The boats did not have the same luck. The problem is that this explanation depends on timing. Abandoning a large, seaworthy sailing ship for open lifeboats is an extreme decision. What did the crew see that made the smaller craft appear safer? Was there damage below the waterline? A breakdown of authority? Another ship beside them? The surviving evidence cannot answer. The Carroll Dirham is often grouped with other ships lost in the region, creating stories about a wider Atlantic mystery. But the documented case is strong enough without that mythology. A known vessel was seen under uncertain command. 2 days later, it was found abandoned. The objects missing from the ship suggest planning, while the total absence of survivors suggests catastrophe. The government investigation ended without a solution. The log was never recovered. The lifeboats were never identified. The crew left no verified final message. What arrived at Diamond Shoals was not a ghost ship. It was evidence without witnesses. Sails drawing wind, a meal waiting below, and an empty deck carrying the last unanswered decision of everyone aboard.